of people, and that in moving into agriculture, this is what we've got to do. Of course, agriculture will mean in the production and also the post-production processes concerning agriculture. So, Emmanuel, this is what we're looking at here: a post-COVID-19 pandemic and Nigeria trying to get herself from her ashes. What are the projections? What do you think we must start engaging now? Because this is our future.
Well, I said it in one of the programs I had, that agriculture truly, because they see it looks like it's the easiest way that doesn't need this and that officialdom in terms of technicalities and all that to start. Because if you must say that, like they've been singing the song diversify, diversify, you know that diversification, if for instance, if you move into the solid minerals, it will also take time for us to start harvesting it in a quantity that it can sustain Nigeria. So I think the only thing that government could give attention is agriculture. But it looks like agriculture is not in the books of Nigerian government. I tell you frankly, because once, if you check in the, what they call budgets, you find out that even if the money, I don't know anyway, whether they finally release the much they allocate to it. But I am saying, I was in this River State, for instance, when one governor, Fidelis Oyakilome, reigned here. He opened what they call school to land, where in all the areas of Uyebe and all the rest of them. Good. In fact, every facet of River State was galvanized into that school to land. And I know exactly what happened then.
What happened then?
Good. What happened then was the food crashed, the prices of food crashed because there were quantities upon quantities of food produced. And the graduates that came out were engaged. Those who came from the O-level angle also were engaged. In fact, if almost everybody that wanted became engaged in that program, and food production was enormous in this state. And remember that this agriculture we are talking about is also involved fishery and all the rest of them. If, for instance, I have said this severally in one conference I attended, when we were talking about what every nation or state in this country could do, I said River State is unique. It's water almost everywhere. Now, what if government decides to go the way of all these trolleys and then engage with company expert hands that know how to fish? And that becomes a comparative advantage to others. Leave every other thing. You make sure that the fish and all that are got from the sea. You are not going to build a house for them, but only acquiring the infrastructure that could bring out the fish and all that. I think River State will progress better than it has. But it looks like government in this country is not ready. For me, I agree, because I had already said it severally with the person who also suggested agriculture. I tell you, it's the only venture that will be easier to take off and make sure with maybe a little time revitalize Nigeria. Because I tell you, if this COVID-19 comes with the vengeance and the vim of attacking Nigeria the way it attacks the advanced nations, all these ones we are saying our experts and health officials are excellent. It is then we'll know that there is no excellence in health issues when there is overwhelming maybe virus coming in droves to attack people. For me, we have all along been fortunate, and let us extend that, because Dr. Weke was saying God. I don't want to say God, because God doesn't hate America. Neither does he hate Italy. But I think we are just fortunate. That is the word. I don't want to say we are lucky. We are fortunate, because if you think the way it is, the number we are still recording correctly, then you know that if nothing, either it gets tired of the world and the past, I'm talking about the COVID, or one way or the other it leaves, we may reach a point that we start crying in this Nigeria. So, if agriculture is galvanized and seen as a venture that should be given attention. I think in quick, no distance time, it will revitalize Nigeria. Because when you listen to the predictions of IMF and the World Bank, you know that truly, is it not before us that Nigeria that depends on oil is no longer yielding anything? So it will certainly be very worst after this particular virus.
All right, okay. Let me get to Fine First in a minute.
Yes, in Nigeria, a lot of people don't go into agriculture because every state governor is in a hurry. They don't like investing into things that will outlive their tenure in office. A few do. Agriculture is a viable area to deploy the energy wasting at home now into, because we have a partial lockdown. Now, this lockdown announced by some state governors and governments is in place. A few are observing, very many are not observing. There is still going to be another natural lockdown when the rain sets in. This is a man that is supposed to keep something to eat during the rainy season. He's not at home, not saving anything and not having enough to eat. Then the rainy season will set in and the person will be locked down again. You will begin to hear cassava missing in farms, stores being broken into at the community level, some women going to places where they drop their babies, give birth and collect money. A lot of nonsense will come out. But I think that before now we ought to have planned. The reason why we do not plan is because we believe that after 20 working days, money will be shared from the center and it will be used for recurrent expenditure, some capital projects, and next month we collect again. And now it has crashed at that level. Nigeria as a country lacks financial security. Look at COVID-19 was yet here properly when we start applying to borrow, which means we can't even, be on our own. If a country like Nigeria that earns so much from oil cannot be financially independent, how much more household within the country? When we are in a country that we notice that the resource we have has metamorphosed into a cost on the people. So I think we needed to have sat down to bring up something. River State, for instance, surrounded by water, like we also put in the news when the herdsmen wanted land. Here we said we don't have. Said they want water. We have water to give them. There is no reason anywhere in the world that River State should not have fishing trawlers on the water, generating money for this state. There's no how we shouldn't have that. Agriculture, we have arable land. School to land, like Imam mentioned, is everywhere. Although that of Ogoni land has been metamorphosed to a place they're building prison. But the point now remains that we still have land within the states, even if crude oil pollution has devastated some other areas. I still believe we can go into the production of food that we can have enough and even have some others to sell. And then people will be busy. But the little foundation we had within the farming industry through the previous administration wasn't maintained. And now this governor had come forward, I think about 2 billion naira is also out there, being earmarked for agricultural purposes. Well, let's see how it goes.
To buy agricultural produce.
Okay. Let's see how it goes. And then we begin to go into agriculture proper to be able to produce food for the teeming population, because I do not see COVID-19 ending by the end of June. What is keeping us and will keep us long?
China just gave out new figures of new coronavirus diseases on the increase in China.
Okay.
And they say maybe this is because they opened their borders too early and people came in and they infected them.
So we don't see this ending about June. The least we can see is around October, November, which means 2020 is gone.
Canada shut down schools throughout the year.
Exactly.
Schools
and a lot of programs within Nigeria as an been shifted to 2021. So what we need to do now is to bring in agriculture.
But can we afford to even shut down schools till then? I mean, we really don't do a lot of online.
We do not. And do we have the facility?
So
people have smartphones to go in.
So what happens now? So people just
people will be home. So
yes,
so imagine the number of unemployed people we're going to have, because after that, some people just might not go back to school.
Exactly, because how do you go back there? So we are just like joking now. We don't know what is before us, but in 3, 4, 5, 6 months from now, we will get to know where we are.
All right.
Education is for the living.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I will respond. And even this question you asked him now, imagine the unemployed people. I'm going to say something to that. Philosophically speaking, there is a reference he made while talking about $1,000 to check healthcare matters in America and other. I actually watched that particular video where they were asking the chairman of disease control in America by the House of, I think the House of Reps committee and all that. So the argument boiled down to some analysis where the money was almost getting to about $1,000 to be able to get some health check. And the House passed a resolution that was to be handed over to Donald Trump, where all Americans are to be tested free of charge. So they are not going to pay any money. I thought I should say that. Now, my dear sister and my colleagues in the studio, the last thing Annie said here is what has made me, because some of us are like Nostradamus. We see tomorrow, but a lot of people don't see tomorrow because they too like enjoyment. They are people of the now. They are not looking into tomorrow. That is even why some pastors are helping us to try to see tomorrow. When every January or December, they will say 2020, 2021, we do this, we do that. But nobody saw that 2020 is a year of virus in Nigeria here. No pastor saw that one. So we don't know how it happened. So that is why we are saying, let the Nigerian government and people be a people that have welfare in their mind. Because once people are not working, there is actually, for whatever circumstances that made them not to be working, whether coronavirus or whether government not able to produce or provide or what have you, there is what is called social security of unemployment benefits that everybody is supposed to be enjoying in this country. But when you tell our government people, they will say, we cannot do that. Where's the money? But they have money that is available for stealing, for inflated contracts and embezzlement. I just thought I should say that one. So our government must begin to behave like Western government that cares for their people, because we live in the same world, in the same century. Taking it further, I also wish to say that government, for God's sake, is not only about building bridge, building roads, building a school structure, hospital structure without equipment. It is good that they do that. But the greater investment to be invested in is actually the people, the human, to stay alive, to use all these roads and infrastructure. Let those that have ears, let them hear. Now let me come to the issue of agriculture.
Do you think agriculture is the key? That's where we must.
Yes, it's part of the key. It's part of the key, but agriculture is necessary, but not sufficient to keeping a nation. And I also want to. Yes, we can do that. Nigeria is a potential in mining. Have we looked at various quarries, solid minerals that are yet to be tapped? What is wrong if we constitute our system in such a way that our mining will become a technology in mining, where we now, transport or export chippings to Togo, to Cotonou, to elsewhere to be able to raise money, because they will build houses there, and we have these resources in Nigeria. What is wrong if government now says, because I know government do have quarries, ship all these things, since we are already building, we give ourselves here, then you ship the rest there. You can make money from that. Another way of making money is in the area of scientific technologies. Why do you think China became a threat to America today? China became a threat to America because they knew that America only should not be the world power. America and Russia should not be the world power in scientific technologies. So they infiltrated the Chinese, the American and United Kingdom and Russian economy, where they now sent their people to go and learn some of these things that they are doing. And at the end of the day, they came to copy or technological transfer to their country. That is why you see all the best phones that we are buying 400,000, 250,000, that we will think we have something. China is not the one producing it. They are collecting money from us. What is wrong if our brothers and sisters who read science and technology here, that they brandish the certificate, it is only oil company, all of them are working. Can't they set up mini laboratories